Good evening. I'm Charles Porch, and this is the Porch Report. Our main topic tonight is fantasy football quarterbacks, when to draft them, and which ones to draft. It does kind of depend on the draft order that you have when you find out 30 to 45 minutes before your draft actually starts. But I recommend drafting a quarterback between rounds 4 and 6 unless you see somebody actually take one of the quarterbacks you want to draft. Now, I listed a few quarterbacks that I'm going to go over in a few minutes, but first I want to go over what I did last year. I drafted RG3 in the first round of my fantasy football league. I got a lot of smack for it, but I ended up being second in my league overall at the end of the season, and I almost won out in the playoffs. I did get exited, but that's going to happen, but I had a very successful season. The reason it was so successful is because RG3 is a dual threat quarterback. He runs and he throws. So you get points for both. When he runs 10 yards, you get that point. When he runs for a touchdown, you get 6 points. So if you combine his passing and his rushing touchdowns, that's a lot of points, especially from last season. Now, will he duplicate that success this year? I don't know. I'm back and forth about picking him again this year, but all dual threat quarterbacks are double-edged swords. So Russell Wilson, Colin Kaepernick, Michael Vick, those kind of quarterbacks, if you think it's worth the squeeze, then grab him, but otherwise go for traditional. Now, some of the traditional quarterbacks that I think you should draft are the normal ones like Drew Brees, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, Matt Schaub, Andrew Luck, and Matt Ryan. Now, I didn't put Matthew Stafford on this list because he's in a make or break kind of year. If he doesn't do something soon, since he's been so prone to injury, he might lose his starting job. So he has the offense to have a big year, and he's had consistent numbers, but he's been injured too many times. He is one of the quarterbacks that I would put on a bubble as far as drafting. If you have to take him because somebody else took all the other quarterbacks, then draft him, but I would not do it unless he's your only option. A few other quarterbacks that I think are on the bubble are Tom Brady, Tony Romo, Josh Freeman, and Philip Rivers. Now, everybody says, well, you're a Redskins fan. Why would you ever talk good about Tony Romo? You know what? Tony Romo puts up good numbers every year. His problem is he messes up at the big game. Remember last year, Week 17 against the Redskins, he threw 3 interceptions, and one of them was returned for a touchdown, if I remember correctly. I watched that game. I celebrated after we won, but Tony Romo does throw for 2,800 to 3,500 yards a season for the last couple years. He is a fantasy point getter, so he is worth a draft. I'm just not as high on him as some other players. Now, Tom Brady is another bubble. Here's the reason why. He has nobody to throw to. Gronkowski's injured. Aaron Hernandez went to jail. Can you name anybody else that's going to catch a ball for him on the team? Anybody at all? No, you can't, because they're not sure when Gronkowski's coming back, and I don't even know who's on the receiving core for that team. They're going to be running the ball more. So their offense might be more 60% passing, 40% running, whereas it used to be 80% passing and 20% running. I wouldn't draft him unless he's there in the 6th round. Now, Josh Freeman's unproven. He had 1 or 2 good seasons in Tampa Bay, and now he's garbage. He has Vincent Jackson to throw to, but he's still garbage. He can't win big games. The NFC South is too competitive. Philip Rivers has had pretty successful numbers the last couple of years, except for last year. He was just bad. He was really bad. And with a new offense, because North Turner finally got pushed out of San Diego, I don't know how he's going to act. I do not know if he's going to be that good this year. I would not draft him unless I need a backup. Most leagues, you need 2 to 3 quarterbacks. So if you are looking for a backup, he's it. Now, in my NFL.com league, I drafted Matt Schaub, and the reason I drafted Matt Schaub is because he has a consistent passing yards every year. He throws roughly 3,000 yards every year. He's got a great running game to go with his team, great defense to back him up, and he's got Andre Johnson to throw to, which is another big receiver. Not as big as Calvin Johnson, but he's big enough. Now, I also drafted one other person, and he's a little bit more of a sleeper in my mind, Alex Smith, the Kansas City Chiefs quarterback. The reason he's a sleeper is because he didn't start last year at all, but for a couple games before Colin Kaepernick took over when he got injured. Now, Andy Reid grabbed him the second he got the job at Kansas City. He wanted him back in Philly. Alex Smith is a game manager type of quarterback. He's the kind of quarterback that'll throw 250 to 300 yards a game, 25 to 35 throws, run the ball, dump passes, West Coast offense. He is very good. He did pretty well with San Francisco the year before when he took them to the NFC divisional round. They lost to the Giants in the NFC Championship game last year, remember. He took them that far himself. And now he has Dwayne Bowe to throw to. He's got Jamal Charles to run for him, and he's got Andy Reid, who is a really good offensive mind when it comes to the West Coast offense. Some of my other sleeper picks for this year are Jay Cutler and Sam Bradford. Jay Cutler has a new coach, so I'm not sure how great he's going to do. And Brandon Marshall has not been cleared yet to play full-time with his hip injury. So there's a couple questions there. Now, they have Matt Forte to run with, but that's not what we're concerned about right now. We're concerned about passing yards, touchdowns, completions. That's what we're concerned about today. And that concerns me because Jay Cutler is a average to above average quarterback. He needs people to throw to. Do they have the offense to make it in the NFC North? I'm not sure. Now, Sam Bradford is another one of those make-or-break quarterbacks this year because he has had little to no success with St. Louis, and he has just not been able to take any advantage of anything. Now, the NFC West has gotten a lot more competitive in the last 2-3 years, but that's no excuse. He was 7-9 last year, I believe, or 6-9-1 because of a tie game with the 49ers, something like that. All I know is that they were below average last year, and he has been starting at quarterback for the last 3 to 4 years. If he doesn't start soon with success, he is not going to make it in this league. He's going to end up becoming a backup. Now, there's one more person that I think could have a breakout year this year, and that's Ryan Tannehill. He has Mike Wallace to throw to. You remember Mike Wallace, the star Steelers receiver. He's very fast, but can he make it the Dolphins a contender in the AFC East? We'll soon find out. Now, I want to hear your thoughts about what I've just said. Please reach out to me. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you have any suggestions about fantasy football from your leagues and your experience. Share your thoughts. That's it from me at the Porch Report. Good night, and take care.
That's cool, but if my friends ask where you are, I'm gonna say she went